Hello everyone, welcome back to TSF's brand new episode, Meet a Global Speaker. Today with us, we have a leadership keynote speaker, an award-winning author, an executive coach, and a person who has smashed all her fears like a glass vase. Let's welcome Dima Ghawi. So, a renowned person like you can be introduced in different ways because you're a high achiever, you're an award winning author, you're a leader. So, but it is not enough. You are a lot more than that. So, tell us about yourself.
Thank you. I believe I like to go to basics, and when I think about my life and how I would like to be introduced, I am Middle Eastern in my genes, American in my heart, and a global citizen in my spirit. And this is how I see myself. I was born in Turkey, raised in Jordan, and I moved to the US 25 years ago. And I fell in love with American culture and the freedom and the opportunities. But as I got to live and travel and work around the world, I realized who I truly am is I'm a global citizen. My spirit is about not limited by a geography.
That's a really great insight. So, as a global citizen, you're also a great leader. You're leading with diversity. So, in your versatile leadership activities, which part intrigues you the most?
Learning about people. So what intrigues me the most is learning about other people's journeys and experiences, the challenges that that they faced, and how they were able to overcome them. It is fascinating because when I think about individuals from all around the world, we all have similar aspirations, similar goals, but somehow we have also similar challenges and barriers to some degree. So that's what fascinates me the most. And I believe the more we know about others and we learn about their stories and experiences, it's difficult not to fall in love with someone once you truly know who they are, and then be an ally to support them on their journey. So when I think about leadership, it's very simple. It is getting to know your people, getting to know their experiences, their challenges, and supporting them through that journey. But that cannot happen if the leader doesn't first stop and get to learn about themselves. And that's why I believe that leadership starts from within, where we need to pause and we need to learn who am I? Why am I interested to be in leadership? What do I bring to the table? What is my communication style? What is my leadership style? We need to learn all of these things and take it to support and empower others, because the more we know who we are, the more we can relate to others and understand what are the struggles that they're facing and support them with that. So that's what I believe.
Yeah, that's what Socrates says, know thyself. Yeah. So in one of your speech with TEDx, you say that Dr. Sterling, one of your professors, he inspired you for the first time to be a leader.
Yeah.
So now you're an experienced leader. When you look back, that younger Dima, what do you see in her that Dr. Sterling saw as a leader?
I still don't know what he saw in me at that time. So I'm not answering your question yet. But when I think about Dr. Starling and why he kept encouraging me, now it's many, many years later, and I still don't know why. So he most likely saw the hardworking Dima, determined. If I wanted something, I would work day and night to ensure that I achieve it. And maybe he liked that. Maybe he saw me being so quiet and not confident, and maybe he thought by developing myself as a leader, maybe that would balance my confidence. So who knows what it was? But if I think about myself as a young girl, and at that time being not having identity, not having a voice, I had to follow and obey, and all of this, I would tell my younger self, wait and see. It's going to get so amazing. You're going to love your life. And in the meantime, just know that the more you take care of others, the more you support others, the more you're going to continue to grow with them. But yeah, I wish I can go back and talk to my younger self and just say, like, okay, it's going to get bad. It's going to get very, very, very bad, but it's going to be great eventually. And your journey, your experience, yeah, your education, all of this is going to allow you to empower individuals from all around the world, and it is going to be so worth it.
You were already doing that. There are a lot of girls who are getting inspired, because I wanted to ask this question so much, because in our life we don't meet Dr. Sterling all the time.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't get their Dr. Sterling. So you're being the Dr. Sterling. I
Oh,
hope our viewers will get their Dr. Sterling in you. So moving forward, you said you were born in Turkey and
mm,
raised in Jordan, and then you came to the United States at a very young age, and
yes.
you got your like major degrees from here. So this cultural diversity, how do you think it adds up in your personality?
Yeah, when I moved here to the US, I initially moved to San Diego. So imagine moving from the Middle East. In Jordan, I was raised in Amman, the capital. Everybody acted the same. Everybody looked the same. It was just, again, same, 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 no diversity. And I remember one time I was in the car with my mom, and there was so much traffic. The entire intersection was full, and we were not sure what was going on. That intersection doesn't have a lot of traffic. And my mom said, oh, maybe King Hussein, the king of Jordan, maybe he's driving that way, or maybe because they block the roads, or maybe there's an accident. But it wasn't that. What was going on was that there was an Asian man crossing the street. And because in my community we're so not diverse, just the fact of seeing someone different than us, it blocked the entire intersection. And everybody stopped their car and they were staring at this Asian man as he was crossing the street. So that's where I come from. I come from a place where everybody has similar hair colors, similar skin color, similar traditions, similar religions, similar everything. So then I come to the US and to this beautiful melting pot of different colors and ethnicities and religions and backgrounds. And as I got into business, I used to work for I forgot the name of the company. Bank of America, and then Merrill Lynch. I was still early in my career, so there was so much diversity, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the different languages. I loved the different foods. All of this was wonderful. The challenge is that as I started growing and advancing in leadership, this view that I fell in love with started to change. And it wasn't as colorful and diverse. It started becoming many times where I would be the only woman in the room. I would be the only woman on the conference call. And I felt that where we were missing out a lot. And that's a big challenge is not just advancing as a woman, but sitting at the table and having equal voice as everybody else, but being the only one that's looking different compared to everybody else that's in that meeting. So yeah, so to me, diversity obviously is so important. It brings a lot of beauty. It brings a lot of help people realize that we are so similar. But what the best part is that we are so different, and that is beautiful. And realizing that with our differences, we're coming with different ideas, different views, a lot of creativity. And that's what a lot of organizations are either utilizing, especially the ones that appreciate diversity and inclusion, or missing out on if they feel that this is not important and they're okay with everybody looking the same.
Yeah, I can not agree more, because I'm coming from Bangladesh, and I can connect with you. I have experienced these things. I cannot agree any more. So In an interview with Sudarshan Chabra,
Mm.
even we're talking about a theory, three evil vases, and
Yeah.
I found it meticulously categorical. So can you please explain that?
Yeah, of course. So let's start by talking about what is the meaning of the vase, right? So for anybody who doesn't know what the metaphor is all about. As I mentioned, I was raised in the Middle East. So when I was 5 years old, I was playing with my grandmother in her kitchen, and we were arranging flowers in a glass vase. My grandmother held the glass vase, and she usually is a fun, she passed away, but she was a fun lady, and she was always engaging. But that day she was not. She was very serious, and she wanted to teach me a lesson. So she held the glass vase and she said, do you see this perfect glass? A girl is just like it. If it gets cracked for any reason, you can never fix it, you can never glue it back. And that's the one we throw in the trash. So imagine I was 5 years old. And of course, I didn't understand what all of that meant. I wanted to play with my grandmother. I loved flowers, I loved the colors, but I was not realizing what she was trying to teach me at that time. As I grew up and as I started observing the women around me, and to see how they're silenced, how they were trying to stay perfect. And that's what my grandmother meant by the whole metaphor, where a girl needs to stay perfect. If there is any crack, that would be considered imperfection, and then she would not be accepted and she would be thrown in the trash. So when we talk about this metaphor, to me, it stopped me early on from discovering my identity, from taking risks, from pursuing my dreams, because I was always worried of how I am being perceived by others, and afraid of making a mistake, because I know if I made any mistake, the consequences would be so horrible beyond what I can handle. So the journey of my life is living with the vase and then shattering the vase. So simple. And after shattering it, it is the consequences that resulted from that, but also the opportunities that grew as a result of that. A lot of hard work, but a lot of amazing opportunities and growth. So when I think about the vase, to go back to your question, with the three evil vases, they are the fear of making mistakes, the worry of being judged, and the aspiration for perfection. And even though they, here in the US and a lot of other countries other than my small community, people may not have been told about the vase story early on, but they're living with it. A lot of people, they're living worried of making mistakes, they're worried of being judged, and they're constantly aspiring to be perfect. And especially as I talk with women from all around the world, it's the same messages. They're telling me their fear of speaking up in meeting, their fear of presenting, their fear of being rejected, their fear that their ideas are not good enough. They're all of these fears. And I keep telling them, feel the fear and take action anyway. Feel the fear, feel the vases, feel all of this, take action. And that is so important. But as part of my journey, I started working with a lot of men too, coaching them, giving them training as part of my consulting practice. And I realized that they have the same vases as well. They may be hiding them, but they still have their fear of, they want to be the protector. They want to be perfect as well. They don't want to make mistakes. They want to appear strong. And as a result, that is stopping them too from advancing, believing in themselves, taking opportunities, because they're busy trying to satisfy all of the expectations that the community, the culture, the world has of them as men as well.
I at this point also, I cannot agree more, because I was living with a story of white paper. My grandmother and my mother told me that a girl is like a white paper. You cannot have any dots.
Oh,
So all of us are going through the same thing with different examples.
yeah,
Uh,
well, I'll share with you before you go to the next question. I'm so glad you brought this up. I never heard of the white paper, but I heard some other people were told that you are like a mirror, like mirror. And if it breaks, you have to look at yourself all the time, seeing yourself broken. How sad is that?
yeah,
So, That's
Yeah,
why we break them. That's why we break them. We don't allow them to inhibit us. We continue to educate ourselves. We focus on self-knowledge because we're not going to allow a paper or a vase or a mirror to take over our lives and force us to lose ourselves in the process.
of course, not anymore. Yeah. So I wanted to know that before breaking out of your fears, you were having thoughts, you were having mainstream thoughts. And it is obviously a biggest step for you. But what was your moment of epiphany that made you courageous to break out of your fears?
I think what happened was I got into depression, and I was 24. I felt that my life was over, and I felt there was no hope for a better life. And even though my family warned me of not oh wow, I didn't even tell the full story because I didn't go into it. So I encourage everybody to go watch the TEDx LSU to get the full story. But to me, I feel because I went into deep depression, and as a young woman I felt that there was no hope for a better life. It made me stop. It made me realize that maybe I do have a choice. I have a choice to live that life and to accept the expectations that everybody they have of me, or I can choose to create a different life. And I knew that there would be consequences, and I'm still living with these consequences 20 years later. But when we think of these consequences, I would rather deal with them than to live a life that is not is not the one that I want to experience. So yeah, so I think that turning point was for me to get into depression. And the depression was powerful because it made me, for many times, just call in sick. And I had a job, call in sick, and just stay laying down in my bed and just staring at the ceiling and questioning what is this life and what the kind of life do I want. So it gave me space to truly reflect about what do I want away from the expectations of what my family and community want of me. So we all have a choice.
Very inspiring. I think this part will inspire so many people out there who are depressed. It's not even binary that it has to be women, it can be man.
Yeah.
Everybody can go through this situation.
Mhm.
So, as coming from a conservative society, the girls, even if they break out from their fear, even if they take larger steps, they don't want to share their story. They feel like this will be embarrassing. But you shared your story. You wrote a book, and that is very much appreciated. So, what inspired you to write your autobiography?
So I agree with you. I did not feel comfortable to share my story. And because I was afraid of being judged. Isn't that funny? Back to the vase. And I wasn't sure if people would want to read it. And also I believed that I am a bad writer because growing up, I was not that great in writing Arabic and in English. So that stayed with me that I'm a bad writer. But what happened after I started giving my speeches, a lot of people, my audience, would come to me and they would say, "Do you have a book? I want to learn more about the story." And I would say, "No, I don't have a book." And what I decided to do instead is to do an audio program. And it's a 2-hour audio program to talk about the vase, shattering the vase in our personal life and in our professional life, and my journey and the lessons I learned from all of this. And the person that I hired to do the audio transcribed it and gave it to me. And it was for the first time I felt that I'm holding my books in my hand, even though it was just, transcript of the audio. So I worked on editing it to make it a little bigger. It was maybe initially, who knows, maybe 20 pages. So I worked on editing it. It became like 30. One of my friends started helping me. So it became maybe 40, 50 pages. I hired an editor. It started growing even more. Then I hired a writing coach and a creative writer. So she started working with me. So it's the same person, writing coach and a creative writer. So she started working with me more on helping to coach me in the writing process, and then she would make it sound so much better afterwards. After I write the first draft. And again, it's just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. I believe as if this story wanted to come out, and it was not my choice. I call it my choiceless choice, where it just wanted to go out, and it wasn't my choice. I had to do it. I just had to sit and write. And it came out, and if I didn't give it timeline at the end, it would have kept growing even more and more. So now it is out, it's right there, breaking vases. And it is the full story. It's the journey of, with a lot of details, but obviously I couldn't put everything in one book. So I'm hoping that that's gonna open opportunities for future books about healing and forgiveness. And because we cannot move on with our lives if we're going to stick to the old anger and frustration. We need to let go. We need to heal. We need to forgive, so we would be able to be our best self and not carry all of this weight with us in our lives, because it affected me. My past affected me professionally until I started working on healing and letting go of this anger. But also a book for children, another book for leadership. So there's a lot of ideas that I need, again, to sit and get them done.
Yeah, that was my next question, actually, that you have written 3 books consequently from 2016 to 18. You have 3 books each year, but then it has been 3 years. A book yet. I wanted to ask that, why is this pause? So it's coming.
So the first book, let me pull it. The first one is this one. It's a small, tiny one. So I would not count it as like a full book, but this was so important in my journey, because as I started working on writing, because I published it, I got to learn how to write, how to work with an editor, how to publish a book. So this is like my pilot. And it is on Amazon, but it's so important for me because I got a flavor of how the process works. And the reason I'm mentioning this and I'm showing it to you, look how tiny it is. Yeah. The reason I'm mentioning it to you, sometimes we have these huge, humongous goals and they overwhelm us. They come with a lot of fear and worry that it's not going to work out. Instead of worrying about this big goal, think of a small step you can take forward in the right direction. So this was my first step in the right direction. And it was so powerful. Once I did this, I felt, okay, I can do a little bigger. And then, of course, I published Breaking Vases. The third one you're talking about was it wasn't just me. I contributed a chapter, and it was multiple people that contributed to it. So I'm thinking that's what you're talking about. Yes. But this journey is powerful for anybody who has a lot of ambitions and want to advance and want to grow, where don't stand in your own way by having this big dream. Have a big dream, but work on a smaller step to learn so you can get closer to your dream.
Yeah, that would be really helpful, because when we think about doing something big, that at the first part, that is the most difficult thing to think about, doing a big thing. So you have to take a small steps. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. So my next question is that who watched your TEDx speech, they know about the story, and I will ask my viewers to watch that. The link of the video will be in the description box. So I heard there you saying you were fearing that even your family probably will disown you. That was also a fear. So after breaking out of your fears, was life that worse? Was all your fear coming true?
Yeah, it is so sad. And in my situation, almost my entire family disowned me, other just than few, like handful. and they felt that I brought shame to the family. And the whoever is going to watch the story, you're going to realize it's mainly for a simple thing that I did, which is I left a bad marriage. I escaped from a bad marriage that was planned by the family and all of that. So, but it wasn't just this. The consequences were beyond that. So in my small community, we have something called honor killing. And if a woman does something that the parents or the uncle or the brother disagree with, they kill her. And it still happens. And there were women that were killed last year. And I had to deal with that. And I'm still dealing with that for the last 20 years for my life, like safety for my life, because some family members, they consider that by me leaving a bad marriage, I'm bringing shame to the family. And the only way that would be erased is by killing me. So thank goodness for being in the US. I'm so grateful for being here, because my life would be different if I stayed in Jordan. And now it's fueling me to continue to grow and advance and reach higher highs, and also to inspire people in the process as well. But my point is, when we talk about feel the fear and take action anyway, yeah, that is very true, but there's consequences. That's why we don't tend to take fears. When we fail, there tend to be consequences. When we don't do things perfectly, they tend to be consequences. So how can we realize that, yeah, there are going to be consequences, but I am worth living a better life. I am worth discovering in this situation my identity. I'm gonna deal with like where the dream becomes so much bigger than the fear. That's what we want. Where the fear is smaller than the dream, and the dream takes over. So you're ready to take steps in order to achieve this dream, knowing that you're gonna be having a lot of obstacles in the way. The problem is many times our fear is bigger than our dreams. And that's when we feel crippled, and we don't take action, and just stay stuck.
That was really like horrible when I heard about the honor killing, and it is still going on. Sometimes it sounds so unbelievable, but it's still going on. Whenever we hear news, we get to know about these things.
Yeah.
Wow. So I hope one day when everybody realizes that our dream is a lot bigger than our fears.
Yes.
So you have an organization, you run an organization, and
Yeah.
that helps people.
Yeah.
So I want to know, how does that work?
Okay. So remember this? So
Yeah.
that is my organization. It's the first step forward. My dream is so much bigger than what I have right now. So my goal, when we think about the bigger one, is to create a nonprofit to empower individuals around the world to continue to advance in business. What I realize as a coach, a lot of people can't afford to hire a coach or to go through a training, assuming that their company is not paying for that. And they have great potential. They're smart, they're dedicated, but they don't have the training that is needed. And that's beyond just going to get a bachelor's or a master's degree. So that's what I want. I want my nonprofit to be able to provide a lot of resources for individuals to train them on leadership, to help them with their career growth. So that is the big goal. That is the smaller one that I'm working on, and now it's turning 4 years old, is a local a group that I started in Baton Rouge, and it's called Leadership and Lattes. So Leadership and Lattes it started as a women's group, and now we have a lot of men joining, which is great. And I meet with them on a monthly basis, and I teach them a lesson in leadership, or I bring an amazing speaker or a panelist. So what the people that are attending, what they're gaining is, it's about an hour and 15 minutes once a month, but they're gaining resources that otherwise they would not, and they have a whole month to absorb it, which is wonderful. And it's not taking time from their family or from their work hours to attend, because it's small, it's short. So when you think about people going to conferences, I love conferences. I speak at conferences weekly, so I love it. But Conferences are overwhelming. When you go to a conference for a day or two or three, most people leave and they're just having all of this information and it's too overwhelming for them. What I love about Leadership and Lattes is they're getting little pieces of information where bringing it together as if they're attending a conference by the end of the year. They get to network, they get to support each other. I know so many people that were able to get jobs from the connections that they built, or were able to like if they have a business and they need certain services, they were able to get that from the attendees. So that is my little step forward. Of course, it's going to continue to grow, but for now, it's great. I believe the pandemic shifted a lot of things, obviously, but with Leadership and Lattes, where we used to have it in person and we had a lot of people attend, it was amazing. Now it made me realize, wow, there's so many individuals around the world that need something similar. And if they cannot attend in person, they're in different places. So that encouraged me to do it virtually. So we're doing it virtually. We have one coming up as well. And what matters is to bring people together and to educate them, to inspire them, fill them with energy, and then meet them again the following month. So the reason we call it Leadership and Lattes, my friend came up with the name, is I wanted people to meet in the morning. There are groups that meet during lunchtime, but that takes away for like you're driving, you leave work, you go, you attend, and they're rushed. There are groups that like to meet after work and for drinks, or if they're able to drink. But I wanted something in the morning. I wanted to catch them before they go to work, and I wanted to be able to, and they still have the energy, teach them something so that would energize them for the rest of the day and hopefully for the rest of the month. So we serve lattes, we serve coffee, we serve other things too for the attendees. So, and of course it rhymes, Leadership and Lattes.
That's amazing, and it is really needed. And I think for COVID, we're providing obviously online services, and I think that is a boon in disguise, because so there are so many people around the world who needs to know you and your story. So another question comes up for the things you have described. Who can avail your service, your organization's service?
Excuse me, who can?
Like, who are allowed to avail the services you're offering? Is there any qualification bindings, any kind of requirements?
No. So if I tell you about what I offer, so of course we have Leadership and Lattes that anybody can attend. I make it so affordable. It's just $15 to attend. And if I have some people that cannot afford that, and they come as my guests. So anyone who's interested and listening, who wants to start joining and continuing to grow, just email me, and hopefully you'll share the email address. And I am more than happy to bring them as guests and continue to support them. So that's Leadership and Lattes. My other things that I do, I speak at conferences. So obviously with the pandemic, that slowed down a lot, but more motivational talks to help people discover who they are and discover and give themselves permission to continue to grow, to feel their fear and to take action. And also the other kind of my work is the leadership development. So that's when I work with companies, with executive teams, whether offering them training, coaching, but also a lot of work to implement diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. So everything is so linked together when you think about it. So Leadership and Lattes, talking about career development for the average person. Motivation is for individual who needs some energy and excitement, and the leadership development which mainly usually is for individuals ready to get into management, or they are in management and you want to continue to advance.
Thank you. At this point, I want to share with my viewers that all of the links, her email, Dima Ghawi's email address, her website link, everything will be in the description box, and please check out. So with this question, we came at the last segment of our interview, that is the rapid fire round. So are you ready?
Yes.
Wow, that was a really rapid fire round. Okay, so who inspires you the most?
My nephew. I have a wonderful nephew, and he's turning 10 years old next week. And he inspires me because I want the next generation to have a better life compared to my generation. It's so important for me to break the cycle of abuse, and whatever I was told about my identity and what I was allowed or not allowed to do, I don't want him to experience it. So yeah, my nephew, I love this young man. Now he's 10, he's two digits, and he inspires me a lot to do my work. And I even dedicated this little book to him. So yeah, I said The Wild Element, which is the name of the book, is dedicated to my precious nephew. May you continue to rise and overflow with love. So that's that's who inspires me.
We wish the same for him, and I hope one day he will be inspirational like you too. So, who is your favorite author, favorite writer?
Oh, can you please say that again?
Yeah, sure. Who is your favorite author?
Oh, my favorite two. Can I say two?
Yeah, sure.
So the first one is Simon Sinek. I love Simon Sinek. He's the one who wrote Start with Why. And he's excellent, not just author, excellent speaker that I always enjoy following his messages and how he talks. He's somebody I look up to. And then the other one is Brene Brown. And Brene is an excellent speaker as well, in addition to author. And she talks a lot about vulnerability and fear and a lot of the topics that I'm passionate about as well. So these are my two.
Excellent choices. So, one thing that you cannot live without your home. No, sorry, that you cannot leave your home without.
My cell phone. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, my cell phone. Like I would be so uncomfortable if I left without my cell phone.
Yeah, that's probably true for everyone today.
Yeah.
So, Baton Rouge or San Diego?
Both.
Both. Okay. Uh, Favorite hero?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Who is my favorite hero? Now I'm going to be thinking, ah, who is my favorite hero? Wow. My brain just blocked. Who is my favorite hero? Ah, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm sure some people are waiting for me to say Wonder Woman or I she did a great job. That's a good movie. But when I think about my favorite hero, that's such a good question. I honestly don't know.
Maybe you don't know who is your favorite hero, but you're hero for so many people.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, one life event you want to remove from your past.
Life events I want to remove. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you're ready for all of this. That goes very deep. So of course, I have some memories from my childhood that were very, very intense, and they were abusive, and I would like for them to just disappear, but they're not going to go away. They're not going to be removed, and they are what make me strong. So if I have a choice, yeah, absolutely, I would like for them to go away, but I also realize the power that they give me and how they continue to ignite my energy and my like keep fueling me with excitement and enthusiasm to keep moving forward and not allow me to go relive these experiences or put myself in similar situations.
Yeah, it is true for so many people. It's
Yeah.
true for so many people. So, one childhood dream that you still cherish.
Ah, I wanted to be a belly dancer.
That was not expected.
Yeah, my dream was when I grew up, and that's what happened when people would ask me when I was a little girl, and they would say, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And I would say, "I want to be a belly dancer." My parents were not happy about that at all. And they would say, "Stop saying that." So I don't see myself becoming a belly dancer. That would not, you're right, not expected. But that's a dream I always loved. I love the dance. I love the Middle Eastern music and all of the excitement that comes with it. So that was my childhood dream.
That was really something unexpected. I didn't see that coming. So, one unknown expertise that we don't.
Hummus. People don't know about. I make the best hummus in
Ah,
the world, in my opinion. Like, talk about ego. So I don't brag a lot, but I brag about my hummus. So that is an expertise I have. So we're not talking about leadership and development of people. We're talking about something fun. It is. I make it from scratch, and it tastes delicious. It takes a lot of time, though.
is it is a culture like Jordan cuisine,
Yeah,
Middle Eastern cuisine.
yeah.
Okay.
It's
So,
the real thing.
okay, okay, okay. That's really great. Like in our country, we have a proverb that who can cook, she can also like take care of her hair. It means the girl who can work like a man and woman both.
Oh,
It means
wow.
that. So you proved that.
Yes. Well, I didn't say I am great in cooking. All I said is I make hummus.
Still, one great thing that morning shows the day. So yeah. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for joining us. It was really a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here and to share my experiences with you and with your audience. I hope everybody continue to believe in themselves and to realize that we have the power of choice. We can choose what happens in our life. And most important thing is to keep breaking vases, to keep breaking the self-doubt, and to challenge ourselves to continue to grow and be better.
Yeah, as you said, I want to tell my viewers also that break your vases of fears, not all the vases at your home, vases of fear, and listen to Dima and her videos, check her website. Do you have any last words for us?
Yeah, I would love to connect with everybody. So I'm on all social media. Follow me. I'm always posting either motivational or business related topics. If anyone is interested in attending Leadership and Lattes, just again, please provide my email address. All they have to do is email me and share that they're interested to be my guest, and I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah, we will be sharing all the links in the description box. I want to
Yeah.
remind them again and again and check out all of them. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.